Ooh, but there's actually a little bit... Oh, it's just a teleport. I was gonna say, there wasn't anything like that before. But, I still have more I can explore here, I think. And I want to be thorough after all. Get all the upgrades I possibly can. Look, if I hadn't done that, I would have missed out on this easy-to-acquire health upgrade. And then wouldn't I have looked foolish? Actually, I wouldn't have, because none of us would have known it was even in the level in the first place. You know, I just realized the flamethrower turret is now probably a lot more useful now that the flammable sword works. Previously it was kind of worthless because burning... That looks interesting. Burning wasn't all that good. Because it just didn't do all that much damage, but with oil it seems to do quite a lot of damage. Anyway, what's this blueprint? Vampirism. I'm assuming that's going to be a skill, probably health regeneration for a limited time, with some sort of penalty as a result. Maybe decreased health for the duration, so you risk being one-shotted at the cost of being able to restore your health more reliably. This situation is pretty much designed to use the magnetic grenade. Look at that. That would have been so much more annoying if I didn't have that. Why is the music stopped? The music in this game is good enough that I like to use it just as a sort of buffer for when I run out of things to say, but... Game, you let me down, bro. You're letting me down. This would help me prevent me from being stun-locked to death. At least by a single enemy. I'll keep my gold. Who knows what other purchases I might come across. And oops, forgot to pick up that scroll of power. Let me go do that right quick. The question is, what do I upgrade? Do I upgrade my health or my weapon damage? Because both could do with a little bit of a boost. Health gives me overall more survivability. Prevents me from being one-shot, which I really need in the later stages where even spikes do that. Yeah, let's go with health. Gonna be a tank. Nah, I'm super tempted by the +1 to skills. Any stat ups on a weapon are super tempting in this. But I really like my current setup. I think it combos very well. I just realized that with this setup, the initial phase of the first boss is going to be even more of a joke than it previously was. Since I can just stun him for quite a while, since he'll remain at greater than 75% health for a fair bit. And that'll just prevent him from doing anything. Granted, it's early on in the fight when he's not dangerous, so that's not exactly a bad thing, it's just something I find amusing. Ooh, okay, I thought he was stunned. Nope, no such luck. And I'm attributing more range to the broadsword than it actually does, which is why I'm missing a lot. I have to become more familiar with its range. I think the main thing is that you mostly stay in place once you start striking. You don't really step forward at all, which is kind of what I expect. You do a little, but just not to the degree that I'm thinking you would. And that's why I end up missing, like I think like, oh, the first hit will miss, but the successive strikes will hit, but no, they never do. Alright, good thing I went with health because I get a free damage upgrade right here, and that seems to be it. Yep. Wow, that fall did more damage than I expected. Let me just heal up to prevent any last-minute run-ruining mistakes. And I think that's actually it for the stage. Kind of wish there had been a teleporter there so I didn't have to walk back to the previous one, but it is what it is. That's only a minor nuisance. Alright then, let's see what the first boss is like now. Who knows, maybe they buffed him as well. You recover 2.9 HP per melee hit that you deal for 6 seconds. You also take extra damage, plus 75%, woo. So, the ability to recover health at the cost of, again, much like the damage buffer, a much greater chance of being one-shot. That trade-off actually I think makes more sense given the bonus here is more HP. Well, I definitely want that out in the wild, so I'm gonna funnel all of my cells into that. I'm not sure if I'd actually use it if I came across it though. Rarely do I find myself wanting for healing, especially now that I have 4 upgrades to my healing flask. But assuming if you start a new file from this point, that would probably be more useful since you'd be more likely to have Vampirism unlocked prior to having all 4 healing upgrades. Finally, a moment of rest. Is that achievement just for reaching the Black Bridge? Yep, you reached the Black Bridge for the first time, so it's an ironic achievement. Given it's not really a moment of rest. Given that it's boss time. Hopefully this goes well. Yep, as I thought, even more pathetic since I can kind of stun him on command with the hammer. Probably go for single strikes here to be safe. And I want to use the stun grenade often since that poisons him. Alright, no point in using the hammer now since it's faster but weaker than the broadsword. And I'm only going for a few strikes at a time at this point. Yep, incomplete one. Still not all that bad. As long as you respond to his moveset appropriately, like you actually roll through his melee strikes and jump over the shockwave, you basically can't be hurt at all. Really, at this point, I know his moveset well enough that I honestly should be able to fight him without taking any damage at all. It's just I constantly make minor mistakes like that, like trying to roll through the fire, which never works. I'm trying to think, is there a tell for the shockwave attack other than just the specific pose he uses? I think it's just the specific pose. So I have to get better about recognizing that in an instant. Hold on. Just heal up to be safe. I don't want this to be another incomplete run, haha, simply because of a dumb mistake I make at the incomplete one. Which might still be the case. Let me just heal up again. I can just tank through the shockwave. I'm surprised that your healing is not actually interrupted by that move. I feel like that would be another good way to make this fight more difficult if the designers wanted to do that. Because, ooh, blueprint. Because then you wouldn't be able to get off a guaranteed heal just by running away. Yeah, you can possibly do the leap attack, but that's slow enough that you can still probably get off the heal. And if you take damage while still healing, it'll end up healing through that if there's healing left, if that makes sense. Basically just putting more pressure on you for knowing the exact right time to heal, rather than just whipping out your flask whenever, which is what you currently can do. Impaler. Is that a new weapon, or is that the spear? I never unlocked it, and I never saw more than a few seconds of other people using it, so I honestly don't know. And yep, still bullshit time limit. I'll have to do that at some point. Inflicts a critical blow if the victim is up against the wall. Okay, so those like E's at the end of some words, that's on purpose, isn't it? I still think that's really dumb, but it's not a mistake per se. So that's definitely not the spear. That inflicts a critical blow if you strike more than a single enemy at a time. As I said, it's a crowd control weapon. Up against a wall. That is interesting. Well, let me unlock a Vampirism, and I'll start on unlocking the Impaler as well. I'll try out old Vlad some other time. Actually, between the Impaler and the Vampire Fangs, this is a very Transylvania-centric update. Wow, those are some interesting effects. Cover the ground around you with oil and light it up. So yeah, I guess it's called an elemental update, not just because of the oil, but because there's increased things that cause burning, poison, and other status effects. Also, I think this update also nerfed bleed. I haven't tried it yet, so I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's one of the things that they wanted to do. It might be worth getting rid of the magnetic grenade, honestly, although, I'll hold off on that. Again, I'm just not really interested in recovering HP, which is the main purpose of the Vampire Fang. Maybe that would help in the Graveyard, which is just such a long gauntlet that you could actually conceivably run out of healing. And it could potentially help out against the second boss, whatever that is. But I'm not exactly about to trust on unknown quantities, you know? Oh shit, that did not stun him. I do wish the flashbang radius was greater. Oh, I just realized. This second swing actually hits above and behind you a bit, which is why, even though I was striking in this direction, I hit the bat that was coming to me from the opposite one. That's good to know. Another strength of the broadsword. Let's see. What do you get for me, my merchant friend? Ooh, more damage reduction. Bomb when I roll. That's not bad. Horizontal turret. Plus 30% damage on a bleeding target. Ooh, and it applies oil. That would actually be a very good combination with Torch V. Ooh, but these bonuses on the throwing knife are really good. If an enemy dies while bleeding, nearby enemies will begin to bleed too. And it pierces. Even if bleed has been nerfed to a significant degree, this throwing knife in particular should still be very good. Question is, which weapon do I get rid of? I think I want to get rid of Morningstar. Although the +1 to health and the stun is really nice. You know what? Let's get rid of the broadsword. I think these two would combo together a little bit better. I could also try going with both the turret and the torch. Replace the hammer with that. I'll definitely be picking up the turret, that's for sure. Although, I don't know which one to replace. I like the poison, I like causing lots of status effects, but magnetic grenade is more generally useful. Yeah. And do I purchase the torch? Would combo very nicely with that oil the turret's going to be applying. But I'd have to get rid of my hammer. I'm not getting rid of the throwing knife since I just purchased it. You know what? Screw it. It may not be as good synergy, but honestly, the hammer doesn't synergize particularly well with the throwing knife in the first place. It's only a slight improvement, I think. Okay, let's just test out the throwing knife by itself. Honestly, okay, I think the difference is that bleed no longer lasts as long. I think it lasted longer before. It still ends up applying a good amount of damage, though. So at least the throwing knives are still worth using. And yeah, with the combination of both burning and bleeding, if I can apply them to the same enemy. Wait. Oh, this is actually... Okay, I was confusing the torch with the previous burning item I picked up, but that was actually a different thing. That was a throwable torch, like the Ghosts and Goblins variant. This moveset-wise is basically the burning mace from before, but it's faster. I wonder then if the burning mace has been replaced by it, or if they both exist. Also, this is a new track, isn't it? It sounds new. Okay, that was a lot of damage. Isn't this supposed to apply oil? Oh, upon deployment, so I would have to do this. Yep. You have to launch the actual turret at them, it's not the turret's firing capabilities. That actually makes it less useful than I was thinking, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, honestly, whereas the burning mace was garbage, the torch seems incredibly good. Ooh, launch both the horizontal turret and the flamethrower turret at a crowd, and just oil and burn them both. Let me test that out here, while they're looking away, of course. Nope, I did not mean to get stuck up there. Not as effective as I was hoping. I think I'd rather stick with the magnetic grenade. It's just more generally useful. Let's see, that right there is... That's the corrupted damage buffer, isn't it? I think it is. Or is it different? I thought the corrupted buffer, whatever the hell it was called, just had the normal icon. No, corrupted power actually has it reversed. I wonder then if damage buffer is still in the game? Because I could have sworn I've seen the icon on this run, and it was like, you know, facing forward, showing attack rather than KTA backwards. So maybe they both do exist and I just wasn't realizing that. Of course, if they do both exist, why would you use the corrupted version over the non-corrupted one? So maybe it is just the corrupted one that exists. I'm not good at paying attention to the fine details. Okay, I lost more health there than I should have. Top up. Spartan Sandals. Presumably a skill. I couldn't imagine that being a weapon unless it just gives you like a kick. You can do the "this is Sparta" kick to enemies. That'd be awesome. Hopefully I actually survive long enough to unlock this blueprint. I'm quite intrigued. Alright, I seem to have a pretty good setup going though. Yeah, I really like the torch. They did a good job improving the burning mace. Ooh, poisons and causes 6 arrows to fall from victims. Oh, presumably this allows you to recover ammo for your ammo-based weapons. One of which I currently have. Let's get rid of the horizontal turret. I like the oil, but since it only applies on the initial deployment, rather than all of its shots, it's just not as useful as I was expecting, because it only applies 1 stack of oil, and only on directly what you throw it at, which just, given the kind of skill that it is, honestly isn't that great. So how exactly does that work? Causes 6 arrows to fall from victims. Okay. So it's actually not as useful as I thought, since you still have to kill stuff. Well wait, if you still have to kill stuff, that means you're recovering your initial ammo, so what use would extra ammo be? In that case, maybe the 6 arrows falling is like projectiles? Extra projectiles? So let's try applying stun and then killing you really quickly. It didn't look like arrows shot out, so yeah, I'm still not sure what that's about. Either way though, I can currently take down a crowd of enemies pretty quickly with this burning torch. In fact, well, they may have nerfed bleed, it seems that burning is now incredibly good. Burning is the new bleed, I think. Okay, here we have the actually dangerous enemy in this stage, the Cannoneers. These guys are nasty, but boy, do they fall quickly to the torch. Yeah, I think it's safe to say that the torch is the new most powerful weapon. It's fast, it does a surprising amount of damage, the burning damage it adds is also surprisingly powerful. What's not to like about it? Hold on, can I head to the rooftops from earlier on? I don't want to save it till later because then I might just forget about it. Forget about it. Let's see. Okay, no, I'm gonna have to come from later on in the stage. Yeah, seriously, 3 hits to kill those big tanky enemies, that's kind of insane. I'm not sure what's going on right now, but I'm the one who won, so does it really matter? Yeah, honestly, I think, like, maybe they forgot to carry the 1 in an instance when calculating the damage of this thing, because it seems too strong. Like, the sheer amount of damage it does is high enough that the rally is significant as well, which means as long as I don't get one shot, I can recover most, if not all, of my HP back. And that's just with spamming R1. It's not even like the rapier where you have to roll first, or the assassin's dagger where you have to be in a situation where you can get off the 3-hit combo. It's just good at rally by default. Yeah, look at that. I lost very little net HP in that encounter. Okay, good. I was just making sure that the recording was working properly. I should have done that earlier, of course, but better late than never. Ooh, an elite enemy in a small room. Let me make sure that all the other enemies around are taken care of first, so I don't have any nasty surprises if I try to flee. Alright, now the enemies are getting a little bit stronger. I can't take out these executioners nearly as quickly. They still fall pretty quickly, though. Alright, probably best to approach from above. That's a bit quicker than climbing. Okay, nope, nope, nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay. I handled that exceptionally poorly. Wow, that was close. Heal up before he goes to a second phase and starts teleporting. I'm surprised he's not teleporting by default since he's the enemy type that does. Okay, my setup is not good for taking down this elite, but maybe... Okay, perfect. He warped to a place where I can fight him with a bit more safety. Oh god, not as much as I was hoping though. You know what? I'm gonna make use of the fact that they can't travel outside, right? Okay. I've run out of healing, so I'm gonna leave the rest of that area for later maybe. In fact, I might just ignore it entirely to be safe. Maybe I should have gone with that vampirism. I think at this point I'll just focus on finishing the stage rather than trying to completely cover everything, because I really want to make sure I unlock that blueprint that I picked up. So I'm just gonna cheese people from afar since my build is plenty capable of doing that. Thank you, throwing knives. You are still fantastic. Oh, I'm glad I killed that. If that had exploded, it almost certainly would have killed me. Yeah, no, I don't know. Bleed still seems to be as strong as ever. I'm not sure how they nerfed it. Maybe they forgot to do that. Let's see. I could use some more health, I think. Come on. Oh, fantastic healing. I needed that. Oh, and I've actually made it to the end of the stage, so I might not be able to ignore the indoor room with the elite enemy. I'll probably need to at least pass through there if I want to make it to the room that has the exit. Damn. Alright. And if I'm passing by it, I might as well try to take it down again, since it could drop something nice. God, the magnetic grenade trivializes the cannoneers so much, since it prevents their only method of ranged attack and by far the more dangerous of their attacks from being dangerous at all, because it just drags the grenades infinitely towards the magnetic grenade, and thus away from you. Alright, I need to get up there to get that blueprint. Yeah, I'm gonna have to come from above. I don't have the jump necessary. Alright, let's brave the indoors again. Oh, of course you're right here. Why wouldn't you be? Okay, that's not a good start to things. At least they can't get me when I'm on the ladder like this. Just gonna let the magnetic grenade do its thing, I think. Maybe... Nope! I'm hoping to apply some bleed. Okay. Come on. It's almost dead. And now it is dead. Ooh. Broadsword 7. +1 strength, and enemies burn when they die. I've been talking up the torch, but it might be worth getting rid of it. Roughly double the damage, albeit with a slower swing speed, but the +1 strength means it's going to have even more damage. And enemies burn when they die. Extra elemental stuff. Yep, so it was 1513 before, but with that +1 strength taken into consideration, it's 2163. I suppose I could get rid of my throwing knives, but honestly I like them more, since they allow me to engage at range, rather than getting into melee range. Okay, that was rude. Okay, I'm not in a good situation here. Oh boy. It also allows me to take down the explosive bats, my most hated nemesis, with ease, so I really don't want to get rid of them. Oh, please let the exit be over here. I don't have the health to take much more at this point. Okay, that pause nearly killed me, kinda screwed up with what I was trying to do. Let me just murder you. Pick up the blueprint. Oil grenade. Ooh. Definitely want to unlock that. Okay, I have to come from below, which is not filling me with confidence. Maybe I can, No, I can't really throw knives upward, but can I strike them upward? No. My second hit doesn't have quite enough vertical range to do that. I'm just gonna cheese him to death with my skills. It'll take a while, but it's a safe, sure method of victory. Unless I screw up like that. That was close. Okay. Just gonna head inside. I'm not even gonna bother dealing with them since I don't really have to. Wait for my skills to recharge. Oh, that did not work well, but long dive attacks cause the ground to ignite. Fantastic. That and the extra damage reduction is very welcome. Okay, here's the exit. As long as there are no more enemies and there haven't been previously, I'm good. And I'm good. Whew, okay. This run may be salvageable yet. Watch it turn out that they took the healing station out from this break room, and this break room only. Let's see. Okay, the Spartan Sandals are a weapon. Kicks enemies backward. The effect is doubled if the kick interrupts an attack, so they encourage timing it, rather than just spamming it. I'm comfortable with my current setup, so I think I'll just put 4 in so I can unlock it immediately no matter how many cells I have with the next one. I'm gonna do a similar thing with the Impaler and the Oil Grenade. Okay, I'm finally back to the graveyard once again. I think I have more level ups than I have at any previous attempt that made it here. And I have a good gear setup, so let's see if I can do it. The dead center of the island, so that suggests that this is the final stage, if they're making an achievement for it, meaning that even if future updates add more stages, they'll probably add them earlier on in the progression, which is good, because at this point, even if you go quick to reach the graveyard, it still takes like 30 to 40 minutes, so adding more stages after that would be a bit ridiculous. Ooh, Death Orb. Death Orb is fantastic. Although, I think with my current setup, since I'm focused more on my melee stuff, my primary weapons, having a damaging skill isn't as useful. It's better having a support one like Stun or Electromagnetism. Okay, yeah. Broadsword is excellent here, as I hoped it would. I can just carve those birds with no issue. It's like it's Thanksgiving Day here. Also, thanks to the massive damage, the broadsword has excellent rally as well. Now, as long as I can avoid death by spikes, I might be able to do this. We'll see how I handle my first big executioner dude, since they are by far the most dangerous enemy in this stage. I think they are the one that is most responsible for the deaths I've had here that weren't caused by spikes. So really, spikes are enemy number one, but that's nothing new. That's just the state of my existence. Okay, yeah, I do enough to two-shot them. Now, as I've noted before, enemies do seem to scale in strength as you go through a stage, so presumably by the time I get to the end I'll end up three-shotting them, maybe even four-shotting. But that's fine, that's still taking them out plenty quick. Alright, gotta find the key for that. It's gonna be in a crypt further in, I'm sure. Now let's apply my skills to the situation as well. Okay, I still gotta roll to avoid that shit. They don't stay stunned for long enough and they attack quick enough, but yeah, I have a really good setup. Then again, in my previous failed attempts at making it through the graveyard, I also had very good setups. I just made really dumb mistakes, so it's not exactly a sure sign that I'm gonna be victorious. Alright, what's below here? Nothing good. I just realized that it would behoove me to lob the magnetic grenade, wait a few seconds, and then lob the stun grenade to make sure that the enemies are clumped together, so they're all hit by the effect. Nope, I'm not risking that. It's not worth it. At this late stage, it's just not worth the trade. Like, unless you had like a criminally bad setup or something. Okay, I'm just gonna wait for them to pass over. Yeah, as it turns out, the best weapons in this game work well with rolling. This one to get behind the enemy as they try and attack you, and then go for your big swing. Ooh. Okay, nope. Do I heal up? Because it was at this level of HP that one of these jerks ended up one-shotting me with one of their big strikes. But I also don't want to run out of healing, especially this early on. Oh, I'm gonna play it safe. At least though, with this setup, I don't have to worry about the birds at all. I just clump them together with the magnet, and then take them out with the broadsword. Is that a shovel? Are we perhaps referencing a notable indie 2D retro platformer? Maybe. It doesn't look anything like Shovel Knight's shovel, but I'll see when I see its description. That seems to be where they make their references in the descriptions of items. Well, so much for that one. Have I actually encountered one of those fog mages in the graveyard before? I want to say no, but I'm not completely convinced of that. Either way, I certainly wasn't expecting to run across one there, which is why I kind of screwed up there. while even with the investment of HP that I had, I still ended up being one-shot at around 3 to 400 HP. So it was a good decision to top up in that previous instance, and I really should have done so before venturing forward. Of course, I had no idea I was wandering into the proverbial lion's den because I couldn't see the enemies. There's that fog effect, but it's subtle enough that you have to be paying really close attention to notice it before you actually enter it. Which, I didn't do. Damn. Well, I'll get to the final boss one of these days.